The State Commissioner of Police, Habu Sani, said the swift and timely deployment of security personnel to the affected areas brought the situation under control. Binta Adamu reports.
Out of the 59 suspects paraded, 31 were arrested for their alleged involvement in looting and vandalizing 31 shops, malicious damage of 8 vehicles, 1 tricycle and 2 motorcycles, while 28 others are still being investigated to ascertain the level of their involvement in the heinous act. The Commissioner of Police, who spoke through the command's public relations officer, said normalcy has since been restored in the affected areas within Sabongari in Kano Metropolis.
Looted properties recovered from these 31 suspects includes 25 gas cylinders and 2 fire extinguishers, 4 washing machines, 11 refrigerators, 6 generator sets, 2 grinding machines, 5 motorcycles.
This, among others. The command also took time off to commend people of vested interest and other sister organizations for their quick intervention in bringing the mayhem under control. Binta Adamu, NTA News.
Now, for peace and security to be sustained in any nation, women must be actively involved, especially in the decision and peacemaking process for tranquility to prevail. This is the consensus of different women groups at the 20th anniversary of the United Nations Security Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security held in Abuja. Momso Damian Dati reports.
Just like the song says, women in Nigeria, their development partners, diplomatic corps, as well as other supporters are exploring all possible avenues to promote gender inclusiveness and sustainable peace in Nigeria.
And as women, we believe we have a role to play individually and collectively, and I would think that we'll continue to play that role.
To commend Nigeria over the last 20 years for being one of the leading countries in Africa deploying women to peacekeeping missions.
Considering the role of women as peace builders in conflict situations, it becomes necessary to come up with a national action plan.
Which acts as a key platform for countries to set priorities, coordinate actions and track progress. When there is peace, the world prospers. Life goes on without threat. I therefore call on all to embrace peace in all its ramifications.
The United Nations Security Resolution builds on a body of international human rights laws with consideration for the place of women and girls. In Abuja, Momso Damian Dati, NTA News.
And now we head to Imo State, where the youths have lent their voices to the call for an end to the violence arising from the aftermath of the NSAS protest across the country. They made this known at the end of their meeting in Owerri, Imo State. Reina Ohiri reports.
Leaders of different youth groups with one voice have also condemned the violence trailing the NSAS protest.
And we, the Nigerian youth, condemn it totally. We are not part of that violent protest.
I was scared because at the end of the day, it's still the youth that are going to suffer it.
This is the time the youth have to now place their demand and see that the government works in tandem in order to actualize the demands.
So my advice to all the youth of Imo State and Nigeria at large is to cue in the government policies.
In the communique read at the end of their meeting in Owerri, the youth stressed the need for perpetrators of the violence which has resulted in the loss of lives and massive destruction of government and private property to cease forthwith and told a path of dialogue. They also commended Governor Hope Uzodinma for the steps so far taken to end the violence in the state and the approval of 2 billion naira earmarked as initial payment for youth empowerment. In Owerri, Reina Ohiri, NTA News.
Meanwhile, special prayers seeking God's intervention to sustain peace and stability in Nigeria have been held in Daura. Shehu Adamu reports that the prayer session organized by the Emir of Daura, Umar Farooq Umar, also serves as an avenue where elders and the ulama appeal to the youth to toe the path of peace in channeling their grievances rather than resorting to violence.
The prayer session, which replaced the annual Gani Daba festival being conducted in Daura Emirate, was organized to pray for sustainable peace and stability in Katsina and the country at large. Emir of Daura, Umar Farooq Umar, said the idea to replace the festival with prayer session is to seek Allah's intervention to bring an end to the security challenges bedeviling some parts of Nigeria and to appeal to the youth to shun all forms of violence. Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Mustafa Mohammed Inwa, commended Daura Emirate for the initiative and called on other emirates in the state to emulate the gesture. Climax of the event were presentations from Islamic scholars on various issues, including position of protest in Islam, the need for obedience to leaders, as well as the importance of education and prayers in nation building. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
The Economic Community of West African States and the European Union are driving a tripartite security component to clamp down on transborder and organized crimes in the region. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the Okwa initiative launched virtually this Friday.
Has been battling cyber crimes, human and drug trafficking, money laundering and other challenges threatening the peace and economic stability of the region. Now a multilateral approach to address all this is in the offing.
Thank our partners, notably the EU, the Federal Republic of Germany, for their unwavering commitment to continuously supporting the ECOWAS in dealing with security threats in our region.
With this in mind, that the EU is very proud to be inaugurating today, officially, the support of ECOWAS and its member states in order to rise to the challenge and mount a comprehensive response.
The COVID-19 lockdown, which changed global dynamics in all forms, is being fingered as one of the contributory factors.
A total of 40,143 drug-related arrests were made in 2018 and 2019 collectively, compared to a total of 29,484 in 2016 and 2017.
The government of Germany, together with the European Union, will continue to support this effort. As supporting stability and security in West Africa is high on Germany's agenda,
professional and technical methods have been proposed to tackle the challenges. Speakers at the launch advocate sustained collaboration for effective implementation of Okwa projects. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
A total of 35 terrorists have been eliminated by troops of Operation Laifia Aduli, while 16 suspected cultists have been arrested with arms in Plateau State by troops of Operation Safe Haven within the last 7 days. This was announced by the Coordinator, Directorate of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, during the weekly news conference on update of armed forces operations across the country. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Of the operations indicated that 13 terrorists were eliminated in contact at Malam Fatori and Jukuchari, in addition to 22 that met their Waterloo in clearance operations by troops of Operation Fireball, a subsidiary operation under Operation Lafia Dole.
Troops successfully foiled terrorist attack on a convoy of vehicles conveying internally displaced persons from Maiduguri to Baga in Borno State. During the encounter, 3 terrorists were neutralized and some arms and ammunition were recovered.
Similarly, Operation Wutar Tapki, a subsidiary operation under Operation Lafia Dole, using the Air Force fighter jets and helicopter gunship, destroyed several terrorist camps in Ungusaki village in Borno State.
Several air surveillance and air interdiction missions were executed by the Air Task Force during the period under review, resulting in scores of devastating hits in multiple waves of attacks on various locations in the zone.
Other successes recorded include the arrest of 13 bandits collaborators in Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State and 16 suspected cultists arrested with arms in Jos South, Plateau State. Within the period under review, troops of Operation Delta Safe and Operation Calm Water 2 of the Nigerian Navy upscaled the fight against crude oil theft and other crime in the Niger Delta region. From the defense headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Let's now join Jennifer in our Lagos Network Center for more reports. Hello, Jennifer.
Thank you, Najatu. Now, experts in drug administration and control are exploring new techniques towards research findings on COVID-19. Imole Ayotokede reports on the steps Nigerian pharmacists plan to take to combat coronavirus.
COVID-19 was declared a global pandemic by the World Health Organization in March 11, 2020. Up till now, there is no definitive treatment for this infectious disease as researchers intensify efforts globally to get a cure for the virus. The pharmaceutical industry in Nigeria is looking inwards to addressing the unmet needs from research and developmental actions on potential treatment strategies to balance medicine supply chain in this time of crisis.
Researchers and pharmacists in their different colleges and businesses are constantly doing some creative work, trying to improve on what we have, looking for new molecules to deal with diseases, looking for new products that can heal faster, perhaps with less adversarial consequences.
Efforts are on to also gather intellectual breeds in the pharmaceutical industry and explore digital technology towards influencing the sector and expanding the frontiers of global pharma production.
Considering our weak healthcare system and poor economic indices, digital transformation is imminent for any notable progress. Computer-aided design and other development could narrow the gap between small players and traditional giants in manufacturing and other fields.
Nigerian pharmacists say they are poised to partner the rest of the world in the management of the dreaded virus. Lagos, Imole Ayotokide, NTA News.
Now, the Kano State government is seeking the cooperation of shipping lines and their agents to allow for the seamless flow of both import and export cargoes once the state inland dry port becomes operational by December this year. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje was in Lagos where he solicited for the assistance of the Nigerian Shippers Council to actualize this goal. My reports.
After Lagos, Kano State drives commerce and investment in Africa. The approval of the $1.9 billion rail project from Kano to Maradi in the Niger Republic explains the vital role the state plays in sub-Sahara trade. With investment showing glimpses of unprecedented rebound, the resuscitation of the Kano inland dry port is a game changer in the country's quest to dominate once the African Continental Free Trade Area becomes operational. The Kano State government is fully committed to this blueprint and has invested 2.4 billion naira to upgrade amenities and infrastructure.
We are pleading with you to follow up with the Nigeria Railway Corporation for the rail line extension into the inland port and to facilitate linkages and access to the markets in the Sahel African countries, particularly the Chad and Niger republics.
Although the initiative will complement the goal of decongesting the Lagos port, but the Nigerian Shippers Council is more concerned about compliance with technological requirements.
Your Excellency, we have to have approved tariff structure, mechanism for settlement of dispute. We need the port to operate 24 hours. We need multi-modal approach to cargo delivery.
The projection of Kano Inland Dry Port is to handle 20,000 20-foot equivalent units at commencement of operations, a figure which could rise to 80,000 over a period of 5 years. In Lagos, Michael Laleye, NTA News.
We'll pause now for a break. Nationwide continues shortly afterwards with Najato in Abuja. Stay tuned.
A scorecard like no other. Government has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, the creation of 75 billion naira National Youth Investment Fund to provide opportunities for the youths, and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survivor Fund, through which government is A. Paying 3-month salaries of the staff of 100,000 micro, small and medium enterprises. B. Paying for the registration of 250,000 businesses at the Corporate Affairs Commission. C. Giving a grant of 30,000 naira to 100,000 artisans and guaranteeing market for the product of traders. These are in addition to many other initiatives such as farmer money, trader money, market money, N-Power, N-Tech, and N-Agro. These and more in spite of a recession and a global pandemic.
Do you desire to upscale your skills and capacities for better productivity? Then you need to attend the following courses organized by NTA TV College, Jos. Protocol Event Management and Public Relations. Date 2nd to 13th November 2020. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 2nd to 13th November 2020. Intermediate Online News Reporting Skills. Date 16th to 27th November 2020. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant, while the fee for other courses is 80,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA Television College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Mr. President said the youth of this country have spoken, and he has heard, and he has since gone to work for the youth of our country, not just as a president, but even as a father of the younger generation.
The real Nigerian youth is a patriot, not a tool of destabilization.
Mr. President made an appeal to the Nigerian youth that this protest, wherever held, should be done in a peaceful manner. The Nigerian youth should be on their guard to make sure that elements that will infiltrate and distract them from the very purpose of their protest should be prevented from doing so.
Listen to the voice of reason.
As they take on Chelsea at home. It's Burnley versus Chelsea at Turf Moor this weekend on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank and Babai Jebu.
If you're just joining us, this is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA, and from Lagos, we're heading straight to Port Harcourt, where Jenny is standing by. Hello, Jenny.
Good evening and welcome. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has signed an executive order to reinforce the ban on indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and its activities in the state. The governor made this known in a statewide broadcast. Ogedi Nyekwere reports.
The governor noted that while the state remains the home to all tribes and ethnic nationalities, the government is opposed to the presence and activities of the proscribed IPOB and whatever it stands. He said the government appreciates the enormous contributions from non-indigens to the political, social, and economic development of the state, but would not allow any individual or group from within or outside to breach the peace enjoyed in the state.
As a government, we are ready to do everything within our powers to ensure that River State continues to be peaceful and secure for all residents and the preferred destination for investors and tourists.
With the return of normalcy in the city, the curfew imposed on Mile 1, Mile 2, Ilabuchi, Emenike, and Ikoku areas of Port Harcourt, as well as Romakurusi in Obiao government area of the state, has been lifted. He, however, noted that the curfew in Oyibo local government area continues until further notice, while the entire Ikoku motor spare parts market should remain closed until further notice. He also directed the River State Civil Service Commission to take immediate steps to employ 5,000 youths into teaching and other career positions in the state civil service as an immediate measure to reduce the level of youth unemployment. In the quest to restore sanity and enhance free flow of traffic on the roads, the governor said a task force will be constituted soon to enforce the ban on illegal street trading and motor parks. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwere, NTA News.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested brewery trucks containing illegally refined petroleum products in Iwofe, Port Harcourt. River State Commandant of the Corps, Muktak Lawal, paraded some suspects in connection to various crimes in the last 1 month. Robinson Derataide reports.
Through intelligence reports, the NNCDC intercepted 2 trucks along Iwofe in Port Harcourt, carrying crates of beer with sacks of adulterated petroleum products hidden inside. The trucks, which came from Enugu to supply beer, were used to load the unquantifiable illegally refined AGO at the Iwofe waterside back to Owerri before being intercepted. Another tanker containing 48,000 liters of suspected crude oil was also arrested at the same area. Others are 4 buses containing illegal products intercepted at different parts of the state, with 16 suspects, one of whom tried to impersonate the NNCDC in an attempt to dupe a lady of 120,000 naira at Eleme in River State.
If you see it from outside, you will assume that it's carrying crates of beer. No matter the tricks they can use, we will get them. And I'm advising the companies, at least they should be, checkmating their drivers, because sometimes most of these companies, they don't know what their drivers are engaged in.
So because I have space in my truck, someone now come and meet me that, please, you help me to carry something. What leads me to that? My wife just gave birth and I don't have anything.
4 of the suspects are already in court, while others will be arraigned after investigation. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Derataide, NTA News.
And that's it from Port Harcourt. Najatu, is over to you.
Thank you, Jenny. President Muhammadu Buhari says he's saddened by the gruesome vehicle accident in Bow Ogu local government area of Enugu State, in which a score of people died, mostly school pupils. In a statement by the special advisor to the president on media, Femi Adesina, the president condoles with the Enugu State government, families of the dead, praying that God will grant them succor and spare the country from such a tragedy in future. He also commiserates with the Catholic Church of Ogu, which runs Presentation Nursery and Primary School, where the pupils attended. President Buhari enjoins vehicle owners to ensure roadworthiness, as initial reports attributed to the accident says it was caused by brake failure by the truck involved. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari this Friday has held a video conference with Mr. Charles Michel, President of the European Council, during which Mr. Michel reiterated Europe's support for Nigeria's Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the next Director General of the World Trade Organization. A statement by Special Advisor on Media and Publicity Femi Adesina indicates that President Buhari is leading Nigeria's charge for former Minister of Finance Okonjo-Iweala to emerge as the first black and female WTO DG. President Buhari thanks the European Council for its support for Nigeria's candidate and also discussed during the conference were issues bordering on debt relief for Africa, the EU-African relations and recharge of the Lake Chad, which has currently shrunk to less than 1/3 of its usual size, and throwing about 130 million people who depend on the lake into dire straits. Recharge of the Lake Chad is an issue the Nigerian president has vigorously canvassed at diverse global fora in recent times. President Buhari also expressed appreciation to Mr. Michel for expected positive developments on the issues. Meanwhile, Nigeria will continue to engage relevant stakeholders to ensure that the lofty aspiration of her candidate, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, to lead the World Trade Organization is realized. This comes from Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs as part of reactions trailing the election of a Director General in the World Trade Body. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
Said although Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is yet to be declared the winner, despite her cross-regional support and adoption by the panel, especially as a result of the objection of the United States that in accordance with the rule of procedure of the World Trade Body, winner will have to emerge from a consensus, of which the General Council has scheduled a meeting for November 9. Reacting to the development, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala in a tweet said she's so far happy for her success and continued progress of her bid, adding that she is very humble to be declared the candidate with the largest and broadest support among members and most likely to attract consensus.
The members choose on merit from all the candidates. So I don't think it's a divide. And of course, I'm the candidate that is chosen and is backed because I think I have the qualifications and the leadership characteristics to do the job.
The front-runner said the organization moved to November 9, which will be about 7 days after the U.S. election. Despite the hiccups, it is still keeping the positivity going. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Still talking Lake Chad and its environs, Yobe State's economic challenges are being addressed through a multidimensional approach by the government in revamping commerce and trade through the construction of ultramodern markets in some major towns of the state. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The desire to turn around the economic fortunes of Yobe State has been one of the driving forces of Governor Mai Mala Buni-led administration. That is why the administration was quick in recognizing the importance of markets as building blocks of prosperous economy, hence embarked on the construction of ultra-modern markets in Damaturu, Geshua and Guru towns. Work at the 600 shops at Damaturu ultra-modern market reaching about 75% level of completion, while works at Guru and Geshua are at early stages.
We have a very firm conviction that his effort will enhance socio-economic development in our beloved state, Yobe.
Similarly, United Nations Development Program in partnership with Yobe State Government is constructing a 500-shop market in Buniadi under its regional stabilization facility for the Lake Chad Basin region, aimed at reinvigorating socio-economic activities in the insurgency-affected community.
And now I can say this newly construction of market is not only about bringing the town or the state into normalcy. We are talking about development.
The construction of similar modern markets will soon commence in Potoskum, Gaydam and Gelder towns in the state. The significance of these projects, many say, underscores the commitment of the state government towards boosting commerce and trade through the provision of the much-needed infrastructure. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Adebola in Ibadan has more reports on Nationwide. Good evening, Adebola.
Najatu, good evening and welcome to Ibadan. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde says efforts are on to address the growing youth unemployment in the state through public works. The governor gave this assurance while inspecting a dual carriageway project in Ibadan. Correspondent Ayomiko Ajibola has the details.
While inspecting the road, Governor Seyi Makinde said the road is quite strategic, adding that when completed, it will help the congested road and ease vehicular movements in the state. He added that despite the fact that the contractor handling the road had not been mobilized, he has demonstrated the readiness to work.
One of the things that we are currently considering is a direct labor agency that can absorb some of the youths, even if it's just fixing our roads, putting drainages in place, but we have to engage them one way or the other. And also from a Greek standpoint, we want as many of them as possible to be attracted to agribusiness.
He noted will reduce the numbers of unemployment and keep them occupied and able to make ends meet. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
The Oyo State government has promised to implement projects and ideas that will improve the standard of living of people of the state. The state governor, Seyi Makinde, gave this assurance in a meeting to the presentation of funds to some less privileged organizations in the state. Ifeoluwa Omoshele's report is here presented.
167 different organizations benefited from the gesture of the state government. The objective of the presentation was to enable members of the public, especially the needy, to benefit from a socio-economic program that will satisfy some needs. The secretary to the state government, Olubami Wadioshun, who represented the governor, said the state government is doing everything possible to meet the yearnings of the people, especially the less privileged.
So what we have done today is show our support for them by giving them grants that will help them and incentivize them in the work that they do.
The State Commissioner for Women Affairs, Fausat Sani, said the NGOs were deliberately selected for this task because of their closeness to the grassroots.
Some of them that are quite outstanding, that in the middle of the night, any time of the day we call them, they are there. And we have some of them that we just need to encourage.
Representatives of the NGOs expressed gratitude to the state government for the idea and pledged that the fund will be judiciously used.
You're still watching Nationwide on the NTA. More reports with Musa in Sokoto after this break. Do stay with us.
My name is Nando Jamda Muhammad.
Stevita
Hussein Musa.
Rodina Joel Finji.
Sayid Musa John. I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now.
And I said that plantain. Nakai Kimami Shekara Uku. I've been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now, and I do it for a better Nigeria.
And I do it for a better Nigeria.
And you can see we're doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician, and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Business.
For a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android, Intelsat 901 degree east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it. Don't spread it.
The NTA Network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank and Babai Jebu.
And thanks for being there. The committee set up by the Sokoto State Government on affordable housing scheme in the state has submitted its report. Dalhat Abdullahi tells us more.
The chairman of the Committee for Affordable Housing Scheme for the state, the secretary to the state government, Saidu Umar, has submitted his report to the governor. Malam Obandoma told the governor that forms were designed and distributed to 6,000 civil servants with the cost ranging from 7 million to 14 million naira through direct labor for 2, 3, and 4-bedroom flats. Governor Tambuwal said the civil servants who show commitment have an option to choose where the houses would be constructed to them. He stated that a new housing scheme will be developed for the state legislature, commissioners, permanent secretaries, and directors general in the state.
We are planning, by the grace of God, to also come up with a special scheme for civil servants public servants rather, for members of the State House of Assembly because we sold their own, members of the Executive Council, permanent secretaries, DGs, and other directors. We are planning in the new Sokoto City on the next year's budget to come up with a housing scheme entitled 342 Housing Scheme.
In Sokoto, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
House of Representatives Committee on Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has threatened to revoke over 20 million naira contract for the rehabilitation of the road in Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Kwari, over poor execution. This was part of the decision of the committee, which was on assessment visit to Sokoto State. Abdurrahman Usman Jubrila completes the report.
In continuation of the House Committee on FEMA inspection and oversight function on all ongoing federal road projects in Northwest, they inspected different road project sites, expressing displeasure over poor performance by the contractor handling the rehabilitation of an internal road at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Kwari. The completion date of the contract, which was awarded in 2018, had already elapsed, and this did not go down well with the members of the committee.
Where we are here, that is a new country. We are not happy with the contractor, and the committee will report back to FEMA headquarters to call for the revocation of this contract.
The neuropsychiatric hospital has been a bit sluggish. He has not been performing up to expectation.
The visit by the House of Rep Committee on FEMA is a very welcome development to the institution. And I believe with their coming, the contractor will be forced to come, resume work, and continue to do his work.
The committee, however, commended the work on the 2.7-kilometer Bakinkusu to Gidamba-Hure Road project. Other projects visited include drainage work at Kalambaina Wamoko to Guamas Road project and rehabilitation work of the Usman Nfodio University Road. The committee urged all contractors handling projects to deliver the project within contractual time frame. In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Well, that's it from here. Najatu, it's back to you.
Thank you, Musa. The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, is always ready to partner with other organizations to promote peace and unity in Nigeria. The Executive Director, Administration, Steve Ebu, reiterated this while receiving members of a group, Students and Youths Initiative for Peace and Development in Nigeria. Alika Okpanachi Arua reports.
And Youth Initiative for Peace and Development in Nigeria is seeking support from the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in promoting its peace campaign to educate youths across the country on the need to shun all acts of violence and criminality in order to restore peace and progress back to the country after the NSAS protest.
The best thing is that let us come together. We are all youths. For example, the destructions of properties that they condemned, it is a problem. It's a setback to us because we, the youth, we need to build on what is already on ground. So if we end up destroying what we already have, it will not help us.
Executive Director Admin Steve Egbo, who spoke on behalf of the Director General of NTA, pledged the organization's support to ensure the goal and objectives of the group are realized.
You are a youth today. You will not be a youth forever. Tomorrow you become an adult. Those who are coming behind you must have something to learn from you.
One of the core objectives of the Students and Youth Initiatives is to promote unity for economic and national development. In Abuja, Alika Okpanachi, Arua, NTA News.
Health experts are advocating research and funding to help change the narrative of the increasing number of deaths in breast cancer patients in Nigeria. This was while discussing the topic First Ladies Against Breast Cancer on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria. Oluseyi Adiabo reports.
It's like a challenge that you keep on dealing with.
Gloria Oji, a breast cancer champion, has been impacted with cancer since 2010. Though for her, the journey is full of fears. But in all, the message is that cancer is not a death sentence.
And that having cancer, the cancer patient has a chance to live.
Dr. Abubakar Bello Mohammed is a chief consultant, clinical and radiation oncologist. He highlights some risk factors that can trigger cancer and emphasized on the need for research.
Government must make fund available for research for cancer. And of course, we have philanthropists, non-governmental organizations, and even researchers must be able to source funding.
Wives of some state governors on the program, whose foundations have helped in supporting women with cancer, are advocating for an intense awareness, especially for women at the rural areas.
The issue of prevention here in Nigeria, it's not very, very strong. Although now with the cancer control plan that the federal government has instituted, and then the cancer control plan that some of the states have come up with, you have in the plan prevention strategies.
As well as the Cancer Health Fund, which is a unique health fund that the federal government has set aside in this year's budget to care for indigent cancer patients.
The problem we have is it's not just to have a policy, it's to have a workable policy. Everybody's hand on the plow. It's not just government.
The month of October every year is dedicated as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it has been revealed that 1 out of 8 women are likely to have breast cancer, and the older a woman gets, the more likely she is at risk. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiabo, NTA News.
Ahead of the intended 2020 December pilgrimage to Israel, the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission has organized an orientation for medical workers who will take care of intending pilgrims in the Holy Land. Omenka Marachuku reports.
The orientation for Federal Medical Committee is to equip the medical personnel with effective service delivery and introduce the members to pilgrimage operational structure and to enable proper medical services for pilgrims.
In discharging your duties as medical professionals, you are promoting the attribute of Christ Himself. You are ambassadors of Christ. You must therefore work hard in love to protect our pilgrims from COVID-19 amidst other medical needs.
If you are living in Nigeria, now, you will have to go through those tests. The pilgrims are not exempt from it, including the Federal Medical Committee and even the Federal Medical team as well.
The personnel at the orientation program are from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. In Abuja, Umenka Marchuku, NTA News.
Critical stakeholders in Nigeria's aviation sector are evolving additional modalities for safety commensurate with global acceptable standards. The idea is to make the country's airspace one of the safest in the world. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
Transport has been one of the economic key players in the country. However, the sector sometimes recorded air mishap leading to loss of lives and property. Although concerted efforts and progress have been made in overcoming such challenge, the Accident Investigation Bureau, saddled with the responsibility of identifying causes of air mishap, is not resting on its oars in the discharge of its mandate. This gathering of like minds, therefore, will look at some silent issues that make air accident more cumbersome.
In the aviation industry, we are all working together to ensure that we do not have an accident. And you will see that in the last 5 years, but for about 5 years now, but for the helicopter crash that happened in Lagos recently, we have not had any fatality in the aviation industry. And that's is commendable because rarely will you find any country in the world that has that record.
This synergy in place with this teamwork properly put in place, there will be proper channel of communication, and that will make things a lot easier for all of us in the sector.
So I learned a lot actually, and I promise to carry this to my station and enlighten the people there the importance of seeing an aircraft in emergency or an aircraft that crashes.
The meeting also is to fine-tune the operations of the Bureau to address complicated issues in addressing the safety of Nigerian airspace. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a cross-section of Nigerians have recommended all citizens, the private sector and other stakeholders collaborate with government in the reconstruction and recovery process instead of dwelling on the ruins of the past to enable the nation surmount hurdles posed by the just-ended crisis which trailed the NSAS protest. Amaka Owo has details.
There is a saying that there is no perfect society, as nations of the world often experience one form of unrest or the other at various times, just like the pockets of upheavals experienced recently across the country.
We should be in the mood of building a new nation where people talk to one another, and because they communicate, they can better understand each other.
The way forward for Nigeria is to everybody to take a step back, appreciate what Nigeria is and the historical role that Nigeria should be playing.
We need to put in a kind of education that can put food on the table.
Some Nigerians believe that lessons have been learned.
We need to preach peace to our followers.
We need fairness, we need justice, we need equity, we need tolerance.
Now that the State Panel of Inquiry and Restitution has been inaugurated by the state government to investigate cases of police brutality, some notable Nigerians want the team to be thorough in its investigations.
We have a lot of respect for the chairman of the panel, that she will be honest, she will be truthful. Not only we in Lagos want to hear the results, the whole world.
We need to be looking at building an economy based on a strong society, a society where the quality of life and the sanctity of life is what is most important.
Nigeria remains the pride of Africa, and having a youth bulge of about 60% in her population, harnessing potentials of these youngsters, respondents say will place the nation on the path of recovery and prosperity. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And to sports now. Friends battle foes in the 2020